What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Anthony Sain Show. This is, of course, your host, Anthony Sain. I'm here with my guy, per usual, Kenny Stubblefield, mega master producer for Bluff City Media. Also with me, my guy, not too much on Roman Cleary is in the building. Roman Cleary, what's going on, my brother?
Hey, Anthony, thanks for having me on, man. It's good. Obviously, a crazy time of the year with the NCAA tournament coming up on
Yep.
Friday for the University of Memphis Tigers. Just got back in from Fort Worth yesterday, as we're
Yep.
recording this. We're recording this on Tuesday night. Got in from Fort Worth yesterday, so I'm a little tired, a little worn out, but I'm doing well.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
all
I
good.
have an announcement though. I have an announcement, Anthony.
What's it?
We're taking over. We're taking over the Anthony Sain Show, baby.
Oh, yeah, I see.
White,
You gotta
white
make this
guys
real.
are taking over.
Taking over.
Let's
I'm
go.
outnumbered for the first time ever.
Outnumbered for the first time ever.
Well,
I love it, man.
as y'all know, I'm not above or not afraid to talk about stuff when I don't know what I'm talking about. I will floss my way through any topic, but when it comes down to Tiger basketball, I will defer to Roman Cleary and bring on an expert. The Tigers are preparing for their first NCAA tournament game against Colorado State. Something you might not know, Roman, is that I work in the entertainment industry per night. I'm a moonlighter. At nighttime, you might see me in your local bar, your local restaurant, providing entertainment for the city of Memphis. And with that being said, a lot of games I see them, but I don't hear them. Or I kind of the game might be on and I see it. And I'm like, oh, okay, Tigers are winning. Oh, they're up by 12. Well, look, this one looks like a dub. And I look up again and they're up by 4. And okay, we're in overtime. Or it's all these type of things. So I can't really say that I honestly sit down and watch a lot of Tiger basketball games. I root for Penny Hardaway. I want the Tigers to win, but I'm not nearly as engaged as even your probably novice fan would be as far as the Tigers are concerned. So this game against Colorado State, the Tigers came in. I did not see them as a 5th seed. Everyone was shocked to see the Tigers get a 5th seed when you look at a lot of the projections for what they would be in bracketology and all those type of things. But this game against Colorado State, teams are being a lot of the predictions are saying that Colorado State is going to win this game, and they're actually favored last time I checked to win this game. What are people seeing that's making them think that this Colorado State game will be a loss for the Tigers?
Well, first, before we get into the actual basketball side of this, it's the classic 5-12 curse, right?
Right.
I believe, I saw this earlier today, 55 12 seeds have won since the NCAA tournament field expanded to 68, and I believe in 1985. I believe that was the year. So the 12-5 upset is fairly common, and people are naturally going to be looking at Memphis to get upset just based off of that alone. So there's that. And then the big concern for Memphis heading into this is that Tyrese Hunter is not expected to play. He injured his foot during the AAC tournament semifinals against Tulane pretty early in the second half. He returned to the bench later before the game was over in a walking boot and crutches, which is exactly how he was during the next day's championship game against UAB. He was unable to put any weight on the foot whatsoever. Again, walking around in crutches. And we were talking with Penny at the Lori Walton basketball facility earlier today for media availability. I asked him for an update on both Tyrese Hunter and Dante Harris. That's another factor. It's not just Tyrese that's dealing with injuries right now. It's the backup point guard, Dante Harris, as well. So you're dealing with injuries to your top 2 point guards, if you're not going to count PJ Haggerty in that conversation. And you're starting Baraka Okoje right now. And Baraka, he hasn't seen very consistent minutes throughout this year. He actually started for the first time since coming to Memphis against UAB on Sunday. So lack of experience there in the guard position. And plus, you're without Tyrese Hunter, who's won 60 NCAA tournament games in his career, undoubtedly a top 3 player for the Tigers this year. And just generally speaking, it's not looking great for him to return, especially on Friday.
All right, so tell me about this Colorado State team. I see they have my guy, I'm assuming this is Nick Clifford or Neek Clifford, big 6'6" guard.
Neek Clifford.
Yeah, 6'6" guard, leading the team in a lot of statistical categories. Some of these categories just don't make sense. Actually, that he's looks like he leads the team in blocks and rebounds at point guard, which is that. Hey, that's a stat for you. 19 points a game. A guy who's getting some NBA looks as well. Is he a one-man band on this team, or what about this Colorado State team roster-wise? How do they match up against the Tigers?
Well, if you have watched any of Memphis UAB this year, you would know
Mm-hmm.
that everything with UAB revolves around Yaxel Lindeborg. He leads the Blazers in points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game, blocks per game, steals per game, basically everything. It's very similar to that when you're talking about Colorado State and Nick Clifford. He is absolutely the backbone of that team. Now, where the Tigers do, I think, have a matchup advantage there is in the front court, particularly speaking with Dane Danger versus the entire Colorado State front court. The Rams just don't really have the size to deal with Danger, which is why I presently believe Memphis is going to get past Friday, despite not having Barack Okoje. I mean, the Rams are a very, very good team. They've won 10 games in a row for a reason, won the Mountain West Conference tournament, probably wouldn't have gotten to the NCAA tournament without that. So this is a pretty red-hot Colorado State team that you're dealing with right now. Again, I can see why people are picking the upset here because, the Rams are good, undoubtedly. It's going to be tough for Memphis to get past, either that or most likely Maryland on Sunday. But I think Memphis should be able to win on Friday because, again, the huge matchup advantage there on the front court.
And I'll say this to you, Anthony, real quick. We talk about Colorado State being red hot. Won 10 games in a row. They're playing really well. Their efficiency ratings are
better than Memphis's, actually.
They're better than Memphis's. They're playing really good ball right now. Memphis is 16-2 in the last 18. They haven't lost a game they've lost 2 games since December 28th.
Yeah, and so they've never lost 2 in a row for the entire season.
So as red hot as Colorado State has been, Memphis is equally as dominant in terms of the record and Roman, I will ask you a question real quick. Compare the Mountain West Conference versus the AAC Conference. Is it comparable in terms of talent?
The Mountain West is exponentially better. Mountain West is exponentially better. It's not even close. The AAC is pathetic in terms of the where it stacks up with, like, the Mountain West, I would say, is probably the best non-power league in college basketball. I mean, the AAC was contending with it for a while when Houston and UCF, Cincinnati, all those teams were in the league. But ever since they dipped off to the Big 12, the AAC hasn't been the same. And that's especially been true this year. The AAC is ranked below leagues like Conference USA and the Missouri Valley Conference, Sun Belt, teams like that. When you look at Ken Palm in the net and things like that, the AAC is in a very, very rough spot right now. So the Mountain West is exponentially better.
So if I'm watching the game Friday afternoon, it's Friday afternoon, right, when the game comes on?
Yeah, Friday. Yeah, Friday, 1:00 Central on TBS.
So if I'm watching the game Friday afternoon, somebody like me who's a novice fan when it comes down to locking into the team this season, how will I know the game is not going the right way? Like, what's something if it starts off this way, lets me know, damn, this ain't what we want to happen. What do you think?
I think it would be a bad sign for Memphis if Colby Rogers is not shooting well.
Yep.
And
100%.
that's especially important now that you're not going to have Tyrese Hunter.
100%.
It's been a pretty common theme this year. If Colby Rogers is on, Memphis wins, and they win big. If Colby is not on, Memphis usually wins, but it's
a different type of game.
It's not pretty. It's not pretty. It's usually by a possession or two. If in the event that Memphis doesn't lose. And I think now that you're going to be in the NCAA tournament against much higher quality competition than what you've been dealing with over the past 3 months, Colby Rogers and him being on his game is that much more important because he was one of the biggest reasons, low-key, that Memphis was able to garner the resume it did in the non-conference schedule.
100%.
Now, of course, Tyrese Hunter and PJ Haggerty are the main reasons Memphis won all those games. Let's not get it twisted. But Colby Rogers was especially key in games like UConn and Clemson and Ole Miss. Dominated Ole Miss, 28 points. I believe that's a season high. Hasn't even gotten close to that number since then. So I think if Colby Rogers starts out, 0 of 5, 1 for 6, something like that from the field, I think that's probably a sign that things are not going well for the Tigers.
What do you think makes a good tournament season for the Tigers? Like, what do you what makes you say, okay, this is a great season, this ended well? Like what would that look like? Is it simply beating Colorado State? Do they need to make it to the Sweet 16? Do they need to have a good showing in this game and potentially lose this game? What makes the Memphis fan base feel like, hey, this is a good season and I like the way the thing is in?
Well, in my mind, as the season is already a success, regardless of what happens from here. Because if you remember, last year was a complete train wreck.
Right,
completely. Like, the program was seeming like it was on a downturn, with, Penny looking shaky and the season just going off of the rails. 7-8 in Memphis's last 15 games after they started 15-2. And the fact that they've completely turned that around this year, they've dominated the AAC, finished the year, 29-5 if you include the conference tournament, AAC regular season champs too, 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. The year is already a success in my mind, but I think the general perception for Memphis fans is they got to get to the second weekend. Yeah. And with that, when you consider Tyrese Hunter not being available probably for the entire tournament, I think that becomes exponentially harder of a task than it otherwise would be. Yeah. If Tyrese Hunter were available, given Memphis's sets of games that it has ahead of him and its potential opponents, those being Colorado State, Grand Canyon, and Maryland, if Tyrese Hunter was available, I would be very confident in Memphis's chances to get to the Sweet 16. But without Tyrese, it becomes a lot harder. Yeah. So for me, season's a success already, but for the fans, if Memphis bows out in the first weekend, they would be somewhat disappointed, I think.
I think we can take Penny's lead on this, right? Like he's talked about it. He's been asked that multiple times. What would be a successful NCAA tournament for you? And he says second weekend, Sweet 16, second weekend. That's what he said. So I think Tiger fans can go with that too, right? Like we can say, okay, we'll take our coach's lead on this and say, if the Tigers can make it to the Sweet 16, I think we can consider that a success. I think what will happen if they make it to the Sweet 16 is in the Sweet 16, they'll face off against the number 1 seed Florida, more than likely against the number 1 seed Florida. But
who cares at that point, right?
Who cares, right? Florida is – if you're thinking about a team, Anthony, that is the kryptonite for Memphis, it's Florida.
So they mean they got bigs. They got really good bigs to rebound.
The ultimate kryptonite is Auburn, but Memphis has already lost to Auburn. So Florida is probably the next best thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah, they got 3 or 4 bigs that are ridiculous. So, yeah,
that's the main
for me.
Yeah, and that's the main reason Memphis lost to teams like Temple and Wichita State this year, because those are 2 of the few teams in the AAC that have the big personnel required to really give Memphis a challenge. Temple has guys like Steve Settle, and they have big guards like Shane Dezzoni and Quante Berry. Wichita State, Quincy Ballard. So bigger teams, and especially bigger teams that can shoot the 3, those are usually the squads that give Memphis the most trouble, and Florida would certainly be that.
And it's teams like Ole Miss that have a very small front court that Memphis can dominate, and they did that against Ole Miss. They did that against all the other teams in the AAC. They did that against, a lot of teams this year. They beat a lot of teams with small front courts, and Colorado State is one of those teams. They've got a small front court.
Yeah. Also, teams with bad guard play, Memphis will destroy. Any team with bad guard play, they don't have a chance against Memphis. That's why they beat UConn.
Yeah, I got you. One final question for you, Roman. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I'm going to go into the future. Guard PJ Haggerty for the Tigers. Second team All-American according to the AP. Big honor for him, of course. One of the few Tigers in history that have gotten that prestigious award. Shout out to him. But when the season does ultimately come to an end, PJ Haggerty has decisions to make.
Yes, he does.
Who is the University of Memphis's biggest opponent when it comes down to PJ Haggerty? Is it another school or is it the NBA?
To me, it is the NBA.
Yep.
I mean, I've heard a decent bit about this over the past month. Memphis is actively already in conversations with PJ Haggerty's camp. Like they're getting the ball rolling on that already. Like they're really getting on top of it. Especially after what happened with David Jones last year.
Right.
And I think they're even more interested in bringing him back than they were David Jones.
Yeah, good kid,
and
man.
And with Haggerty, I'm getting the sense that he really has no real desire to go to another college. He is he and his family really like where they are with Memphis. They're loving Memphis.
Yep.
And they believe they can get, adequate compensation from Memphis.
Right,
now,
right,
of course, PJ will do his due diligence. He will he will declare for the NBA draft more likely than not. I don't think he will enter the portal. I mean, he might, but I don't think he will. But he'll declare for the draft with the possibility of returning to college. And there are, unfortunately for him, I think, some hurdles in terms of getting him to the NBA. You look at things like shooting, lateral movement on defense, ball handling specifically. Those, is he fast enough for the league right now? Those are questions that I ultimately do not think he will be able to, overcome in the pre-draft process. So I do imagine that he will eventually withdraw from the draft and return to school. And I think Memphis is the very likely scenario in that scenario, if you will. I think Memphis is far and away the favorite.
Yes.
For PJ Haggerty, if he returns to college, which I think he will. Long story short, I think he's going to be back in Memphis next year.
No, that was up. Well, Roman, I appreciate you coming on, man. It's my guy, Roman Cleary. He covers the Memphis Tigers. He is the Bluff City Media beat reporter for the Memphis Tigers men's basketball team, and he joined us today. Appreciate you, Roman, man. Keep doing your thing, bro. We proud of you. You had a great year. It ain't over, man. Why don't I talk another year over, man? Keep doing your thing, man. We're gonna ride this thing till we cut down the nets, man. My guy, Roman Cleary. About to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk your Memphis Grizzlies, man. Tony Allen, we retired his number this weekend. They just sent my boy GG back to the G League, man. We're going to talk about that. And shame on you to Memphis Grizzlies fans. I'm going to tell y'all why when we come back for more of the Anthony Sain Show. See you guys in a minute.
I'm nervous, BK. I'm nervous. I thought what was different about this season was that we didn't really know what the ceiling could be for this team, that we were still kind of working towards that. Well, with 15 games left, I think we're still working on that, BK.
And I think a lot of us are still thinking, what will this really look like? And you don't want to be saying, what do you think this will really look like with 15 games ago? You would like to say, oh, we're fine-tuning, you're doing a little something here, a little something there. We're doing more than just a little something at this juncture. When you're coming down to this part of the year, you would like to have some level of certainty of what your lineups look like, what your rotations look like. But it's been very hard for this team to be able to do it because they've had this guy in, this guy out, this guy in, this guy out. It's been a revolving door of who's playing, who's not playing.
Tune in to the Night Court Podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
I struggle with talking about the magnitude of what this means for this team, because you look at this conference and you say, this is a bunch of scrub ass teams. Like, they're scrubs. You're supposed to win this conference. You're supposed to handle business. But the problem with that line of thinking is they haven't done it until now. Yeah. And it's been 12 years since they've won a conference title outright in the regular season. And so with that, I think on a national scale and for people outside of Memphis, there's a downplaying of winning an outright AAC championship. But in the city, and it's at least for me, if we're asking the question, how big of an accomplishment is this for this program for Penny Hardaway? I would make the argument it is the biggest and best Penny Hardaway accomplishment.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. Me and Kenny Stubblefield just started joking about a segment that's coming about probably 3 months from now.
Yes. Yeah. We plan ahead.
We plan ahead, man. Yeah, we joking about a segment that's coming. Oh, man, I had to get my jokes warm.
Stay in your lane.
Had to do some crowdsourcing, man. Do some crowdsourcing on that one.
It works. It works.
Yeah, it hit.
It
for
works.
Sure.
It hit
that
for
joke
sure.
hit for sure. All right. Speaking of things that were a hit, Kenny Stubblefield, I was sitting at the house the other day, and I'm watching the Memphis Grizzlies beat. Who the hell did we beat? The Miami Heat.
Miami Heat.
Right, we beat the Miami Heat, and we had a celebration of the career of one Anthony Allen. Tony Allen had his number retired, number 9. I still haven't watched the documentary all the way through, but I plan on watching that very soon. But the retirement ceremony, bro, whatever emotions, because I shot y'all a text that morning. I said, bro, I ain't gonna lie.
You did.
I don't see Tony Allen the way most people see him.
Yep.
But man, when I watched it in the moment and just went back and just replayed all those memories or whatever thoughts I had about Tony Allen through another lens, I was overwhelmed watching that whole thing, man. Just to see a dude who understood, like, man, I'm not supposed to be here, bro. Like, and you see people who are saying, I saw you still people getting their jokes off, man. The Grizzlies are retiring Tony Allen jersey. Like where's the bar for that? And even saw some Grizzly fans saying the same thing. But literally, bro, he's not supposed to be there. Like, he you saw in the documentary, or you just know his story. He started playing organized basketball late, was in trouble off the court. And things, and that it really should have derailed his career and his life. Plus, he had the injury to his knee that just totally derailed his athleticism, totally destroyed his athleticism. And to become a role player that created a culture like he did in the city of Memphis with the Grizzlies, and just to show his humility, man, his emotions, like just seeing him cry and just be like, man, like this is unbelievable. Like, and just to see people throw their praise and their flowers on him, and just to see that everybody's path is not linear in the NBA, man. Like he had a career that probably would have knocked a lot of guys totally out of the league. But he totally said, look, I'm just for the key in on defense. I can still move side to side. I can't jump like I used to, but I can still move side to side. He made himself an elite defender and studied the game like few other guys. And just to see him reach the highest peak he could have reached as an individual. He got the team he won. This guy was an NBA world champion. He won a championship with the Boston Celtics. But that crowning moment right there was the achievement of his career. It was the greatest day of his life. And shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies, the way they went about doing it, bringing guys back. You saw Quincy Pondexter there, who I did not know was cool with Tony like that at all. Ed Davis totally shocked me. I'm like, bro,
had no idea
he was cool with him.
you and
Ed Davis were cool, man. Bino Ucha was there. Bino still looks exactly the same as he looked when he was playing. And the one
I had no clue. I was surprised by the Bino moment too. Like, everybody loved Bino. Is it Bino or Bino? Anyway,
I don't know.
Everybody loved it. Everybody loved him. I was surprised Tony had such glowing things to say about him. I don't know why I was surprised, but I just was. It was interesting to me.
He doesn't seem like the guy that'd be cool with the guy from Chicago,
from
the
Chicago,
mean streets of Chicago.
Yeah.
But man, just a great thing, man. Zebo, Mark was there, and the one that really just had me in my feelings, man, was Rudy Gay, bro. You would think that if any guy would feel a way towards his organization,
100%,
as far as guys go, it would be the guy that wanted to be a part of that core and was pretty much booted out of here. Like, the media turned against him. And I was one of the people who drank the Kool-Aid.
We all drank the Kool-Aid.
We all drank it. I remember us working when we worked for MAM. And
we all drank it.
We were like, oh, man, get him out of here. Get Rudy out of here. And that was just the narrative that was being sold. And looking back, it's like, man, why didn't we make that work, bro? Like, why can we not find a way for Rudy? Because the main issue was Rudy and Zebo operated in the same area. Kind of like New Orleans. I use this analogy all the time. New Orleans with Brandon Ingram and Zion. Like they don't do the same shit, but they do different shit in the same area. And that's what Rudy and Zebo were. They both operated in the mid-range. And we just could not find a way to make that work. But I think we should have. And I hear people say things like this current Grizzly team, like we need a Lionel Hollins. No, bro, that's another person. I do not see Lionel Hollins the way that y'all see Lionel Hollins, bro.
I don't either.
I think he was a tremendous leader. I think he was a doggish man who was hard on these young men and led them or whatever. And that's another thing too. I put that on Twitter. That grit and grind Grizzlies team, those dudes were old as hell by the time they got here, bro. Zach Randolph was 29, Tony Allen was 28, Mark was 25, I believe, and Mike Conley was 23 years old. That team they weren't young when they got here. Those guys were in T.A. and Zebo were in the prime of their career when they got here, like in the middle of their prime. And Lionel Hollins, of course, was the leader of that team, as Tony Allen admitted. But there were so many things about him just being bullheaded, man. That, like, you know, if he had like the OJ Mayo thing was silly. The OJ Mayo stuff was silly.
The Xavier Henry stuff.
Xavier Henry stuff. Not playing Tony Allen at all. And I know Lionel Hollins tried to cover it up and say, "Oh no, it wasn't that. I just didn't want Tony playing point guard." Lionel Hollins, you're old enough to remember, dude. You weren't playing Tony Allen at all, bro.
At all.
And just other things that he did. They kind of alienated guys. You had Kyle Lowry and Mike Conley. You wanted Mike to be the man so much that you just didn't play Kyle. You just booted Kyle Lowry up out of here, and that could have been who knows what if you had both of those guys at that time. Just so many things. Lionel Hollins just being just petty, man. You know what I mean? But and I think he's a good coach, but I don't rank him. It's just phenomenal coach, like people try to do.
You said some stuff in the group chat that was set us on. We were like, what?
Yeah, just things you hear.
Petty.
Just in my time of like covering teams and covering this team and making friendship and relationships with different people, you know, you hear certain things, bro. Like Lionel Hollins, man, go sit your ass down, bro. But and like even in that moment, like I hate that I'm making this a crap on Lionel Hollins thing. And like let's not forget this is the same dude who said he don't even go watch his son play his college basketball games. And I'm not trying to make this a shot at his personal character, but like even with when they said when he was interviewed by Matt Enfield, right? Like, bro, just joke it off. Like, hey, man, you know, even, you know, I missed on Tony, man. But look at him proving me wrong and all this type of stuff. Like it ain't the time for you to try to clean that story up, man. Just take the L, joke it off, and it's all good. Don't try to save face on Tony's time. And like, I didn't even like the whole thing about like I told Tony, like he's supposed to be dead or in jail. Like, man, it just didn't hit right to me, bro. Like I don't look at, and we've had Lionel Hollins on the show. He's a great coach in Grizzlies history, but like that's always been my opinion. I've never thought Lionel Hollins was as good as most people have. I don't put him in those herald grounds as a lot of people have. But the whole Rudy Gay thing, like I said, I think that we should have found a way to make that work. But anyway, regardless of that, shout out to Tony Allen getting his numbers in the Rafters. But back to this Rudy Gay thing, right? I think we should.
I have a question for you about. I have a question for you.
You missed my transition up. You missed my transition up. But go ahead.
My bad. I have a question for you about Tony. Before we move on from Tony, how do you think Tony Allen would be as a player if he was coming into the league right now? How do you think he'd be looked at?
I'm glad you asked that, Kenny. His style of defense, I don't think it would translate to today's NBA. Yeah. Because when Tony Allen was doing his thing, we were at the end of the hero ball era where you had these dribble, shoot guys, right? They're like the drive and kick era. And Tony was a guy who could lock down the best player on the other team. But right now, it's less dribble, and it's more pass. And it's like it's passing, cutting, setting screens, guys getting over for three, all those type of things. And it's a lot easier to guard a man than it is to guard the ball. You know what I mean? Right. So I think that's something, because we saw it at the end of the grit and grind era. It wasn't that them dudes was old, man. The NBA just changed. And the NBA changed while those guys were the grit and grind era. And we were getting smacked by everybody because teams weren't just going dribble, ISO. It was pass, swing, kick, pass, swing, and all that. And that's a lot harder to guard for an elite level defender. You know, that's and guys today have to defend teams a lot differently. Like guys like Jalen Wells, there are certain guys he's going to defend well, but you know he has to be able to guard the three and all those type of things. So you know the league has just changed. I think guys like Tony, with the effort he gives, he still will be a great player. But the fact that he could not score the ball at all, like he couldn't shoot, all those type of things, it would really limit him in today's NBA for sure.
That's my thought process too. His lack of offense would absolutely.
He got away with it back then. You know what I mean? Because the biggest part of his offense was catch the ball, take two dribbles, get the ball to Zebo. Like, right. And you know the NBA is it's cyclical. You know what I mean? So all those things may come back around, but right now today, I don't think Tony would be as impactful as he was. Not to say he would not be impactful, but he wouldn't be as impactful as he was back then. Because nowadays, bro, the days of a guy who just strictly plays defense and can't do nothing else, those guys, it's hard for those guys to catch on in the league. But I was talking about Rudy Gay, right? And I wanted to transition and talk about how the Memphis Grizzlies have not found a way to make this GG Jackson thing work. It's fair to say that GG Jackson may not be doing the best to make that thing work as well. Just kind of from just strictly watching the games and talking to people of knowledge about how things kind of go over there, how things may be going. The transition from being a guy who's a 19-year-old who was given a leash to kind of do his thing in a dead season, those type of things seem to be affecting GG this season, in a season that matters. A totally different season than last year, where you got your guys, you got Jaren, you got Ja, you got Dez. Sometimes, you know what I mean? You got all three of those guys sometimes. But in a season like this, GG's role, of course, would be different. And he does not seem to be fitting into that role well at all. And we talked about the whole Rudy Gay narrative, right? My whole concern with GG is that a lot of stuff that you see with him and you hear about him feels narrative-ish. And my thing is, Zach Kleiman, Taylor Jenkins, Grizzlies organization, we know for a fact that there were offers made that probably included GG Jackson that you guys turned down. Mm-hmm. Whether that's, a Cam Johnson deal, Dorian Finney-Smith, DeAndre Hunter, any deal that you made for anybody, I'm sure teams were wanting the kid with the broken foot that you had on your bench, right?
Yep.
Those deals didn't happen. If there are other deals out there that you guys are considering going back to for next season, and you feel like you want to make that deal now for GG, just do it. We don't need he don't play defense. We don't need the doghouse. We don't need to sending them down to the G League with 5 G League games left in the season. Like, we don't just if you're about to trade GG, just do it. Let's end the silly stuff about acting like we're surprised that a 20-year-old kid who's just now started playing meaningful basketball games is actually adjusting to the league. And this is something I told us about last year and this year too. Like, I was one of the people that was saying, I think GG and Vince will be fine, but let's keep in mind that neither one of these guys have played a meaningful basketball game at all. They never played a game where the team on the other side is trying to bust your ass. They played games where teams were playing half-ass against us, and they were able to shine. But now the games are being for real. I'm not surprised that those guys are struggling the way that they're doing, especially in the season where both of them have been killed by injuries, you know what I mean? And have only played a handful of games apiece. Cam Spencer has played in more games this year than Vince Williams has. Did you know that?
I'm not surprised, but no, I did not know that.
Right. So you see what we're talking about. Now, what I just said about GG Jackson could very well be the case. But there's also a side of that where, like I said, he had a major foot injury. Came into the season late. He's struggling. He's also a kid who was the number 1 player in his high school class for a long time.
Yep.
Went to college, was treated like the man. Came to the Grizzlies, wasn't playing at first, and also vocalized, well, they got me in the corner. I don't really know what to do. This ain't what I'm used to. But hey, whatever, I'll make it happen. Didn't look like a guy that was going to play last year until the injuries happened. Got a chance to shine. He's having 40-point games and doing his thing on TNT, and Shaq giving him props and all those type of things. So he's back feeling like the man. I'm not surprised if a guy like GG Jackson is struggling to play a role for the Grizzlies, and we see it playing out in real time. Part of me understands that, but part of me also understands that GG has to grow up soon. He has to grow up on the fly. He's got to accept the responsibilities of this new role. And I think there's some back and forth. I think there's some push and pull. Because this G League thing, I hear people say, because I saw Greer talking about this today on the Daily Grind in the comments saying, oh, this is an opportunity for him to, guard some guys and, get some confidence and all that. Man, we've got like 14 games left in the season.
14 games.
There are 5 G League games. GG Jackson will not play in the playoffs, bro. Like, I don't think he'll play at all. I think we've seen the last of GG Jackson this season. The G League thing feels almost like punishment, just being honest to you, because there's nothing that's going to be accomplished by him going to play 5 games in the G League, because it's definitely not going to get him ready for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because this is something I said as well back when he did his first stint in the G League, right? If you're wanting him to be a role and fit in around Jaren, Ja Bain, or whatever as a bench player, how does him going and dogging out whoever in the G League help? Because he's going to look awesome in the G League. He's going to look awesome. He looked awesome after being gone for months in the G League. He's going to look awesome again. So I don't understand how that helps him play a role. And here's another thing too, man. I see both sides of this so much, and I'm literally talking back and forth even in this segment. I'm taking both sides of this as I'm talking. So I literally see both sides of it. But people, they're saying like, well, Gigi's got to learn how to play a role. He's got to learn how to play a role. Coming off the bench and being a scorer is a role, bro. Like that's a role. Santi Aldama is a bench scorer for his team. There's not much else that he does. You're not bringing Santi in for defensive purposes. He rebounds, all those type of things. But Santi Aldama is a bench scorer. That is his role. Cam Thomas that plays for Brooklyn, he's a bench scorer. The kid that plays Jaden Hardy for Dallas, he's a bench scorer. The kid that plays for Houston, can't think of his name.
Oh yeah. Damn.
Comes off the bench for them.
Lou Williams made a career
being a bench scorer. Like right? I understand what people are saying, but there's something between Gigi like being the man and being 6'9" John Conchar. Like we can find a happy medium for him, and I don't think they're using him the best way that they can. Because yes, he has to play a role, but his role can be scorer. It doesn't have to be stand in the corner. It doesn't have to be fit into this offense,
I mean, I think a large portion of it, Anthony, sorry to bust your a large portion of it is we're still seeing Cam Spencer minutes. We're still seeing John Conchar minutes. Even with Gigi, we're still seeing Lamar Stevens minutes. Like, it's not like –
right.
Listen, I'm a believer. Me and you have had conversations on air, off air. I think Gigi has been severely lacking in his effort level. Yeah. His effort level has been not great.
He's a little pouty. He looks like he feels a way about things.
But could a portion of that be that it's like, man, these minutes that you're giving dudes who aren't a part of your future, clearly,
right,
outside of maybe Cam Spencer, are Lamar Stevens and John Conchar are not a part of your future. And you're giving them minutes and not me.
And we're so trained, like people are saying, well, we've got injuries, we got this. We're so trained to be playing 13 dudes in the game.
13 dudes.
That we've got enough dudes to just play dudes that can hoop. Even right now, bro. Like even right now. Yeah. And it's crazy, man, because and to the Grizzly fans, there's been a lot of discussion. Because my thing is, I've been on for the last couple of weeks is, hey, this season is what it is, man. Do I think that the 7-8 guys, do I think there are 7 to 8 guys on this team, on this roster right now, that are part of a team that could be a championship contender? Yes. I think that Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., that's your big three. That's your guys that are vets. Jalen Wells, Gigi Jackson, Zach Edey, Vince Williams. That's a solid rotation of bench reserve. Other guys, role players. Santi Aldama as well is in that mix. And you give it a Brandon Clark or whatever. I think that's 8 guys that I think that's a part of a championship team. I think that's a championship level rotation of those guys. Not to mention whatever guys you got that you're building around them. And I see a lot of people talking, right? And something that people are saying is, okay, Vince, Bane, and Gigi. Jaren, Ja, Dez, they're good. But these guys are good too. But you got to have guys better around them. I challenge anybody. Since when is having 7 to 8 really good dudes on your team not enough to be a championship team? Who won the championship last year? Boston, right?
Right.
Name their dudes. Name their dudes, bro. After their starting five.
After the starting 5?
Yeah, it's just dudes. Like it's not any, they're not pulling all-stars off their bench, bro. They're pulling guys who play a role. And they're just, it's like it is interchangeable dudes, the Hausers of the world, the what's the kid, the 6 man?
Sam Merrill.
It's just dudes, bro.
No, he's Cleveland.
Yeah, the kid, the guard, the combo guard.
Oh, Peyton Pritchard.
But it's like they're just kind of dudes, bro. It's like, and like our fans getting this thing where it's like, oh, we need vets. We need vets, man. Oh, we just gotta have vets. Like, bro, like you're gonna play 7 or 8 dudes, 9 dudes that are good. Like if you do that, you can't say, oh man, free Gigi. Gigi needs to play. Oh man, Vince is a great defender. He needs to play. Oh man, it's Edie. If you get dudes that are better than them on this team, those dudes are out of here, man. Like those dudes aren't gonna play. Like they're out of this. Like they're not gonna be part of the future. And
Not
I'm
with
sorry.
this coaching staff.
Yeah.
Not with this coaching staff.
No, I'm saying, bro, when you get down to like playoff basketball, like if we made a move at the deadline and we got freaking DeAndre Hunter, we went and got Cam Johnson, right? Vince, GG, Jalen Wells, y'all gonna play spot minutes. Cam Johnson's gonna play 30 minutes a game, and whatever y'all ain't gonna play. If you went and got John Collins, whoever, a big man at the deadline, Zach Edey, you're done. Like we ain't gonna see you no more. And it's just like. It's like we just want to see. We want to have things. It's like we. Oklahoma City Thunder, right? Best team in the NBA.
Right.
Who are their 8 dudes, bro? It's SGA, the guys who you know are cold, and just some dudes who just kind of do shit. It ain't like it's just like guys that are good sometimes they ain't. But like we got this thing where it's like you got to have 10 dudes that you can depend on. Like, bro, that ain't how this works at all, bro. Like
not
nothing.
how this works.
It's not how this works. And I'm totally fine looking at the guys who are in that 8-man rotation and say, okay, these dudes are fine, bro. Like I think that core dudes can be okay. And if here's something else I'm just kind of tired of too, man. I got on Zach Kleiman's ass few weeks ago when I basically said, bro, if this is your plan, why isn't your coaching lining up with your plan? Like why aren't we seeing your plan being followed through with? I'm kind of tired of people with this whole well, he said he was wrong when he doubled down on youth and now he's doing it again. All right, there's this thing called time, bro. Like and time allows things to change and allows you to regroup and say, okay, this is where I am now.
Yeah.
The year that he doubled down on youth, which is the year he drafted Jake LaRavia, he drafted David Roddy, all those guys. But that was 3 years ago, bro. John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Desmond Bain were 22 years old that season, the year that he went out and got those guys. If those dudes aren't your vets by next year, when they're 26 years old, what are we getting vets for? Like, if those dudes aren't your vets, bringing in journeyman role players and mid-level players to this roster, you're still not if those 3 dudes aren't vets at 26, you're not doing anything, bro.
Yeah.
Like that happened. He did that 3 years ago. And if he looks at this now and says, okay, you know what? I have to trust those 3 dudes. Those 3 dudes have to be our dudes, right?
Yep.
I can't bring in babysitters for grown-ass men. They have to be the dudes. And it's crazy because, like, I had these conversations with people on Twitter. And they're like, well, you can't build around young guys. Why? And Desmond Bain contributed his rookie year. And the next year, he was, like, best player on the team, putting Minnesota out of the playoffs. So why am I acting like G.G. Jackson, Jalen Wells, Vince Williams, Zach Edey can't do the same thing? And there is a thing where guys take a leap between year 1 to year 2, and year 2 to year 3, and year 3 to year 4. These guys, their game increases. They get better and better. Look at Jaren's game from year 1 to where it is now. And if I've got guys on this team that are 25 years old, why am I acting like by the time those guys are 26, 27, which is NBA championship prime, that G.G. Jackson won't be good as hell in 2 or 3 years? That Jalen Wells won't be good as hell in 2 or 3 years?
Yep.
That Zach Edey won't be good in 2 or 3 years? And I'm going to wrap up like this. We'll end the show up. Shout out to my boy Roman Cleary. Not too much of my boy Roman, who I love to say about him, because y'all be giving Roman a hard time. But I'm going to say this, man. The Phoenix Suns said we need some vets, right? We got Devin Booker. He's the dude. We need to get some vets around him, right? And they thought that Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges weren't enough. And they went and got Kevin Durant. They went and got KD, right? The ultimate trump card. When they got KD. They've been pure ass ever since they did that. Then they doubled down. Let's go get another star. Let's go get another vet. They went and got Bradley Beal. And they got even more ass. Haven't got close to winning anything that looks like a championship. Nope. Those moves can be extremely dangerous, bro. And don't tell me that Phoenix team wouldn't be good as hell if they had kept Mikal Bridges, they had kept Cam Johnson. I'm not saying that KD ain't KD. He's fucking KD. I get it. but you don't know what those guys can turn into. Would I be surprised if I look up in 3 years and Jalen Wells is Mikal Bridges? What's stopping him from being it? Already a high-level defender. He shoots the ball well. Once he understands, oh, man, because I guarantee you, that dude is going to come in so locked in next year because he's a worker. When he realizes, no, this ain't college. This is an 82-game grind. I guarantee you that kid's going to come in super ready next year. When Gigi gets humbled by this situation next year, don't tell me that dude ain't going to come to camp super ready next year and humble and focused, right? Vince Williams, same thing. Edie. Don't tell me these dudes can't take a leap, bro. Because the guys that are our guys, like Josh, Jaren, Bain, they all did that. They had decent rookie seasons, and they took a leap as time went on. So I would not be surprised if these guys do the same. And shame on y'all, man, for now y'all want to get mad with 14 games up in the season because y'all getting the realization that this team ain't going to be too good in the playoffs. I tried to tell y'all months ago, and I was like, I just want some fucking normalcy. And y'all told me I was doing too much. I was like, oh, now I was like, okay, bro, why the hell is Zach Edey not setting screens? Y'all the ones who try to tell me, oh, it ain't wrong with that, man. He's got all season to set screens. Like, he's got all this. Like, these guys, they've been setting screens all their lives. They don't have. We can install that at any time. Oh no, Josh's fine, man. He looks just like he's always looked. Like, this is stuff y'all were telling me, right? Oh man, what you want guys to play 40 minutes a game? No, 32, 3 would be fine. What you going? Guys got to take a break, saying they got to sit down. But do they have to sit down more than anybody? Like, do they have to?
Right.
Do we have to play 14 dudes? All this stuff that I said wasn't normal. When I was a boy that cried wolf, y'all were telling me to shut the fuck up. Now, y'all, shut the fuck up, man. I told y'all this. I told y'all what this shit was looking like back then. Now that them eggs are hatching, God damn it, this is what y'all asked for. Y'all wanted this weird-ass season, and we're about to stumble to the playoffs looking weird as hell. Job, and no fault of Jobs, he's had a nightmare season when it comes down to just nagging injuries that would not go away. And those things are more than likely going to rear their heads again in the playoffs. Either them missing games or playing and not looking like himself. So the season fucking is what it is, bro. And I'm not stressed about it. I think that this team has a solid core of guys going forward. When I say core, I don't mean your 3. I mean, it's a solid 7 to 8 guys on this roster right now who I think are really good basketball players. And I think that that's all you need, bro. And then you get the Luke Kennards of the world turn into Cam Spencers, or you mess around and Marvin Bagley is a guy you hold on to, and he's a solid big. And you got BC, or you may end up trading BC, and now you got Bagley, and he can kind of do the stuff that BC does or whatever. Like that's just how championship teams are built, bro. You identify your guys, then you got some guys around your guys, and then you got some dudes who just kind of dudes, and they sometimes are good, sometimes they're bad. But there's nothing about this team that makes me feel like we have a talent issue. I think we've got a lot of young players on this team that are really, really good and could end up being future high-level role players in the NBA. And that's all you want them to be, bro. If you can get that out of them, you're fine. Man. Well, for my guy Roman Cleary, for my guy Kenny Stubblefield, Kenny's been another good one, man. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us, bro. Go Tigers in this joint. We got another show coming Friday. That joint will be airing right before the Tigers play. We'll probably give our final thoughts on that whole situation before that game actually happens on Friday. But yeah, man, we'll see y'all Friday, man, and we out.
Thank you for listening to the Anthony Sain Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.